How do you create a cinematic icon of pure terror? Do you spend millions on groundbreaking special effects? Hire a legendary composer? Cast a world-famous actor to hide behind the mask? Well, what if I told you one of the most influential horror films of all time was made with a shoestring budget, a crew faking an entire season by hand, and a killer whose face was a $2 Captain Kirk mask? This is the unbelievable, chaotic, and downright brilliant story behind John Carpenter's 1978 masterpiece, Halloween. Today, we're unmasking 12 unbelievable facts about a production that broke all the rules to create a film that would terrify audiences for generations. So lock your doors, check the closets, and buckle up. This is the story you've never heard.
Number 1. The Face of Evil cost $1.98. Every great monster needs a memorable face, but the iconic visage of Michael Myers wasn't born in a high-tech studio. It was found in a local costume shop. The crew, desperate for something unsettling, grabbed a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask for a mere $1.98. They spray-painted the face a ghostly white, widened the eye holes into dark, soulless voids, and messed up the hair. In doing so, they accidentally transformed the hero of Starfleet into the face of pure suburban evil. Number 2. They faked an entire season. The film is famously set in Haddonfield, Illinois during a chilly autumn. The reality? It was shot in sunny Pasadena, California in the middle of a hot spring. To create that autumn atmosphere, the crew had to buy bags of dry leaves, paint them in various shades of brown and yellow, and then scatter them across the lawns before every single outdoor shot. Once the scene was done, they had to meticulously scoop all the leaves back up to be reused. It was a tedious, back-breaking process to create a fall that only existed on film. Number 3. The director was the composer. With a budget so tight there was no money left for a composer, director John Carpenter took matters into his own hands. Relying on a skill his father had taught him, he sat down at a piano and composed the entire chilling score himself in just 3 days. That iconic, unnerving main theme, written in a rare and unsettling 5/4 time signature, is a masterclass in minimalist horror and proves that sometimes limitations breed genius. Number 4. The heroine's wardrobe was from J.C. Penney. Forget a dedicated costume department. To outfit the film's heroic final girl, Laurie Strode, actress Jamie Lee Curtis was simply given a budget of less than $100. She went to a local J.C. Penney and bought Laurie's entire look right off the rack. The rest of the cast? They pretty much just wore their own clothes. It's a perfect example of the film's grounded, slice-of-life aesthetic being born entirely out of financial necessity. Number 5. The original title was terrible. The film that redefined a genre wasn't always called Halloween. The working title for the project was the far more generic and forgettable The Babysitter Murders. It was producer Irwin Yablans who had the brilliant idea to center the story around a specific, spooky holiday. He suggested not only renaming the film Halloween, but also setting the entire horrifying plot over the course of that single night, a decision that gave the film its timeless, atmospheric power. And number 6, Michael Myers was not an actor. The man behind the mask, the imposing figure known as The Shape, wasn't a professional actor. It was Nick Castle, a friend of John Carpenter's from film school who was just hanging out on set. Carpenter loved Castle's deliberate, almost robotic movements and offered him the role for just $25 a day. Castle had no idea he was helping to create one of cinema's most enduring boogeymen. He just thought it was fun to wear a mask and stalk around.
We're only halfway through, and the story behind this film is already as wild as the movie itself. But trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. We still have to talk about how the producer's own hands became a killer's, how a glaring filming mistake made it into the final cut, and the secret gruesome ingredient used to create the film's most brutal sound effect.
Number 7. A 20-day shooting frenzy. Today, a major film shoot can take months, even years. Halloween was shot in just 20 days. 20! This wasn't an artistic choice, it was a financial necessity dictated by its shoestring budget of around $300,000. This brutal, frantic schedule meant there was no time for mistakes, forcing the cast and crew to be incredibly focused and inventive. That raw, almost documentary-style tension you feel in the film, a huge part of that comes from the real-world pressure cooker environment it was filmed in. Number 8. The infamous name steal. If the name of Michael Myers' determined psychiatrist, Dr. Sam Loomis, sounds familiar to film buffs, it should. It was lifted directly from Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 thriller, Psycho, where Sam Loomis was the boyfriend of the doomed Marion Crane. This wasn't a coincidence, it was a deliberate and loving homage from John Carpenter to the master of suspense, one of his biggest filmmaking idols. Number 9. The producer's hands became a killer's. The film's terrifying opening scene, a point-of-view shot from the perspective of a 6-year-old Michael Myers, is a masterclass in building dread. But the hands you see grabbing that kitchen knife didn't belong to a child actor. To save money, the film's producer and co-writer, Deborah Hill, stepped in. She had the smallest hands on set, so she put on the gloves and became the young killer for that iconic, chilling sequence. Number 10. You can see palm trees in Illinois. For all the crew's hard work painting and scattering fake leaves, the California setting couldn't be entirely erased. If you pay close attention during some of the daytime scenes in Haddonfield, you can clearly spot the ultimate Illinois imposter lurking in the background: tall, leafy palm trees. It's a tiny, amusing flaw in an otherwise masterfully crafted atmosphere, a ghost of Pasadena haunting the Midwestern suburbs. Number 11. The breathing was fake. One of the most unsettling sounds in the film is the hollow, menacing breathing coming behind Michael's mask. That sound wasn't captured live. It was added in post-production by Nick Castle himself. He stood in a sound booth, wearing the actual mask, and breathed into a microphone to create that authentically claustrophobic, wheezing sound that implies a monster is barely contained within a human shell. Number 12. The stab sound was a watermelon. So, how do you create the sickening, wet thud of a knife plunging into flesh on a micro-budget? You go to the grocery store. The sound effects team discovered that the most horrifically realistic stabbing sound could be made by simply plunging a large knife into a watermelon. Every wince-inducing impact you hear in the film is actually the sound of a perfectly innocent fruit meeting its grisly end.
So there you have it. A cinematic revolution built on a cheap Captain Kirk mask, a 20-day shooting frenzy, and a soundtrack composed by the director in a weekend. Halloween wasn't just a movie. It was a miracle of low-budget ingenuity that proved pure terror doesn't come from a big budget, but from raw creativity and a perfectly placed watermelon. Despite all the chaos, it became one of the most profitable and influential independent films ever made, launching a franchise and defining a genre for decades to come. So I have to ask, which of these facts shocked you the most? The fact that Laurie Strode's entire wardrobe came from JCPenney? Or that the gruesome stabbing sound was just a poor, defenseless watermelon? Let me know in the comments below. And for more untold stories from behind the movies you thought you knew, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us here at the Retro Spectacle.